Once you understand this one thing, your life is going to change forever, because that's what happened to me. Once I understood that the situation that I'm in right now, in terms of physicality, in terms of body, in terms of health, in terms of my studies, in terms of my business, in terms of my YouTube channel, in terms of the money I make, the life that I live, the habits that I have, all of that are the result and the consequence of the actions that a past version of me took. The body and the health that I enjoy today, I have today because 6 months ago I was working my ass off trying to build a good physique and trying to get my cardio up to a level where I can play football for 60 minutes straight and I can run 10 kilometers uninterrupted. All of that I worked my ass off 6 months ago, and now I get to enjoy that. The important question that you gotta ask yourself is, how much comfort are you willing to sacrifice for your future self? Because whatever you're experiencing right now is the result of work done by your past self. Now, why you gotta make sacrifices? I've got two words for you: delayed gratification. Delayed means postponing it, and gratification means enjoyment, satisfaction, and all those things. The idea is to delay your gratification, to sacrifice your present happiness, contentment. You suffer today so that you have a better tomorrow. We've probably internalized this concept already when we've thought about our parents sacrificing their life, their dreams, so that we can live a better life. And we ourselves, we strive, we think that in the future, hopefully, we get to sacrifice our present at that time so that our kids will have a better childhood than we did. And this pattern should go on and on and on, and eventually the kids 2-3 generations down the line will have the best parenting ever needed. But the point of this video is about sacrificing today's happiness. Not a happiness exactly, because when you're doing the sacrifice for your future self, it's almost like a child of yours. You are working out, you're going for runs, and you won't feel the results, you won't get the results, you know for sure that you're not going to get the results, but you're doing it because a future version of you will enjoy the consequences of your actions. And what happens if you don't? What happens if you enjoy? What happens if you eat junk food? What happens if you don't go for a run? Whatever happens if you don't keep the habit of working out consistently? 6 months down the line, that future version of you will suffer the consequences of your actions as well. Right now, I'm studying engineering physics. I'm in the third year. I have one more year to complete. I'm studying in a tier 2 college. I wouldn't be here today if me, back in 2022, decided to take one of the biggest risks. I took a gap year. I convinced my father to take a gap year to prepare for an exam that 2-3 million people write that exam. And when I got him to let me go, I was at the 50 percentile of the rank list. That means I was behind 50% of the people. I convinced him to pay a lot of money to send me to a coaching institute which will help me prepare for that exam. I chose the wrong institute because they were terrible at teaching me. But within 4 months, I took the responsibility on myself. Didn't have my mobile phone. I was not aware of anything that's going on outside in the outside world. Only thing that I had was I would wake up in the morning, I would study, I go to classes, I come back, I study, I go to sleep. I sleep for like 6 hours, I wake up, I study again. This just went on, this cycle I repeated for 4 months. Within 4 months, I went from being behind 50% of the people to going up to 96.5%. I was ahead of 96.5% of people within 4 months. I'm telling you, people prepare 1, 2, and sometimes even 3, 4 years studying for this exam and they fail. And there I was, crunching it. If I sacrifice pleasure, the satisfaction at that time, it was suffering, it was proper suffering. You think you can survive on 6 hours of sleep while studying for like 8 to 10 hours every single day? It is suffering. But I did it, and 4.5 months later, I wrote the exam, and when the results came out, all I could do was smile ear to ear, because I was going to get the consequences of my actions. I was going to enjoy the results. For the next 6 months, I just chilled, then waited for the allotment to come around, and I got into the tier 2 college. I joined a branch that I was passionate about, engineering physics. Looking back, if I didn't take the risk, if I didn't trust myself, if I didn't make the sacrifice at that time for my future self, which I've been enjoying for the past 2-3 years, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't even be making these videos. I wouldn't even get to help a lot of people that I did help. I wouldn't have learned a lot of things. I wouldn't have met a lot of the people that I have met. All of that came just because I made the sacrifice at the right time. There was this experiment done by a few scientists, psychologists. They wanted to test how kids react to being presented with a situation where they can choose between instant gratification versus delayed gratification. What they did was they would sit them down in a room and they would give them one marshmallow. And with that marshmallow, they would tell those kids, if you want, you can eat this right now. Or if you can wait 15 minutes without eating it, I will give you 2 marshmallows. Of course, they're kids. They like sweets and marshmallows and stuff. So most of the kids ended up just eating it because they couldn't wait it. Some of them tried to wait it out, but then they couldn't resist the temptations and they just gave in. They ended up eating the marshmallow. But some of the kids were able to resist the temptation and wait for 15 minutes, and they were rewarded with the second marshmallow. Now, it's powerful because these kids who chose delayed gratification, when they checked, their parents and all those things, the scientists found out that these kids who chose delayed gratification had parents who kind of had the same kind of behavior, who would sacrifice the present happiness for the future self. And kids who chose short-term gratification, who just ate the one marshmallow, some of the parents were people who drank alcohol, some of them went to clubs and parties, ate junk food and all those things. What's even more crazy is that they tracked these kids down the years. When they compared the life of the kids who chose delayed gratification versus the kids who chose the short-term gratification, they found out that the kids who ate the one marshmallow without waiting were the kids who ended up partying and clubs, being addicted to drugs, chasing fast money and all those things. But the kids who ended up waiting for the second marshmallow and ate the 2 marshmallows, they had the patience, they had concept of delayed gratification, and it happened to subconsciously apply to their life the rest of the life. What they found out is that these kids who chose the 2 marshmallows over the one, by waiting, by having the patience, they found out to have better careers. They found out to be less susceptible to drugs and other problems that happens because we chase instant pleasure. This experiment, you can look it up. I'm not going to cite the sources or anything, but you can look it up and you can see for yourself the other results of the study. But this is a crazy thing to think about, how much this impacts your life. Right now, you might be blaming your past self for the things that you are experiencing right now. The not so good physique that you have, the bad habits that you have, the people that you've attached to just because you're lonely and all those things. You must be blaming your past self. But once you get into the path of self-improvement, let's say you've been on it for a few months, then you look back and start to thank your past self. Once you get to that point where you are starting to enjoy the results of it, you will have this gratitude towards your past self, which is really powerful because you will start to have a bit more of self-love. I don't condone with this modern woke way of self-love where it's like, oh, I love myself the way I am. No, I don't condone that. The type of self-love I promote is the one where I worked for myself. I work so that I would feel better. I go to sleep every day at the same time for long enough. I don't sacrifice my sleep. I don't stay up late watching movies. That is my concept of self-love. Not when you're fat and you tell yourself that I'm fine. That's not self-love. That's self-sabotage. And you're coping by telling yourself that you love yourself. But the problem that a lot of people face is when you start out on self-improvement. Let's say you start going to the gym. You don't get the results in the beginning. And it's a difficult stage to be, in that gray area where there is no results. Because you start your actions, you start going to the gym. First day, you don't see any results. 2 days, you won't see any results. 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, you won't see any results. Because the thing about delayed gratification is that it's going to take that time for the result to show up. And it's especially more difficult when there is no results that you can show yourself, to make it worthy, to make it seem worthy for yourself that, hey, look, you're getting these results, so keep doing what you're doing. In the beginning, you don't get that. But let's say you've been working on consistently for 4 or 5 months, you start seeing the results. You've been honing your nutrition, you've been doing very good, then 4 or 5 months in, you'll start seeing the results, you start to feel stronger, you start to feel healthier. And that's when you look back and thank your past self. This gray area where you don't get a lot of the results, that's where your patience is tested. That's where you gotta dial in that delayed gratification, because hey, it's much easier to keep doing what you're doing when you're getting the results. It's much easier to study when you're getting the grades. It's much easier to work out when you have the muscles to show for it. The problem is when you don't have results to show yourself that it's worth it to keep trying. That's the difficult part. So if you can keep your head down, if you can keep working, if you can not listen to the people around you that are telling you that Don't do it. Look, see, you go to the gym every day. You don't look stronger. You don't look like you build muscle. You gotta be able to ignore those messages. Then only will you be able to go forward. I got this from a video by Hamza. Comfort is the killer of man. That sounds like a very simple and red pilly, like corny kind of quote. But when you think about it, that is the truth. This is our test. In Quran it says that God will keep testing you, but this is our test. Comfort is the test. Comfort is what makes you work against your principles. This is the biggest challenge that we have. Everything around you, everyone around you, every multi-billion corporations around you, your phone, every single app on your phone by itself, your laptop, everything is designed to get you to experience a bit more comfort so that you get more addicted to that comfort. Even the social media algorithms are designed like that. This video, just because it's not edited, hyper edited, doesn't mean that it doesn't have the value that I am providing to you. But even YouTube doesn't want you to have a better attention span. It would rather make more money by giving you videos like from Mr. Beast, where it's just explosions and I just do that kind of energy and everything. Because that's the reality of the world that we live in. The way they try to sell things is by using lust and basic desire for comfort and all those things. It's very simple once you take a step back and look at it. Movies, TV shows, advertising, the junk food, everything is subsidizing on the fact that we are chasing comfort. Once we counter the popular, you don't really have to chase comfort. There is much more purpose and purposeful and fulfilling life lies outside of your comfort zone. And once you get out of that comfort zone into that difficult zone, into that discomfort, you'll have a bit more vivid, more deeper experience of life. The way the world is designed is to turn you into someone who's chasing comfort. If you have the biggest problem in the world of porn right now, in this generation, it's feeding on the lust of these teenagers and adults. That's what replacing the culture of marriage and spirituality. There is something beautiful about marriage. The culture right now, the hookup culture and the dating culture and all those things, porn disrespects this whole spiritual weight of marriage. It just disrespects it. It just throws it out the window. It just destroys the whole concept and introduce you to the comfortable, simple situation where you don't need to be that accountable. You don't need to be as accountable as much you would need to be if you were getting married. Men today are playing video games. They're addicted and they're just saying, this is my time to spend time with my friends. Is it really? There used to be a time when there was real brotherhood. I still have that. I still go in the evening, we hang out with the bros, we play football, we play tennis. Sometimes we just walk around, we talk about our problems, we help each other, we motivate each other. That is still there. I don't play video games anymore. But men like you and me, we're coping by calling video games as a way to spend time with your friends. I have this concept. I tell this to all my friends, male and female both. I tell them that I focus on quality of time than quantity of time. If you're just sitting there and watching a movie or video games for 2-3 hours, that is not quality time. The more quality time would be us sitting and talking to each other. Because there is something beautiful about the time that is spent that way. There is connection, there is actual things on the table rather than just watching a movie together. I'm a big promoter of that brotherhood, Go for some trek with your friends, Go play football, wrestle with them, learn boxing, learn martial arts with them. This is the kind of things that are actual brotherhood. And there are video game industries that are giving you this, they're probably advertising this as, have fun with your friends. This is how, don't, okay? I almost sound like Tyler Durden from Fight Club. Advertising has us chasing dreams. And of course, health. They want us to eat junk food. They want us to eat Domino's and KFC and Burger King and whatnot. They don't care about your health, okay? If you are eating only the things that feels good to your taste buds, if you get fat, don't complain. If you get diabetes, don't complain. If you get obese, don't complain. And another thing that I want to remind you at this time is to boycott against the genocide that is going on in the Middle East. Boycott KFC, Domino's, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo and all their products. It is important as virtuous men that we don't support any kind of injustice that is going on in the world with our words, with our money. Our money is our message. Because I want you to speak up against it. Okay, boycotting is your way of selling the world, of selling the West that you gotta stop whatever you're doing to the innocent people that are dying, the genocide that is going on right now. This video will probably be shadow banned for saying this. But I want you to understand that if you don't stand with the right thing, no amount of success will make you feel better. Okay, you'll still be just the asshole that you are today. No money can change the person who you are if you don't stand with the right thing. If you are a hypocrite, no amount of money will get you the respect that you want. It's as simple as that. The purpose of this video is to urge you to choose discomfort when it seems like that discomfort will lead to some kind of advantage in the future. You're sacrificing your present contentment for your future happiness. That is what the idea of this video is. You can click here for another video that will talk about how I made my life voluntarily boring so that I can enjoy the things that I need to do. Quit social media. I moved to a room alone. I enjoy reading books now. I enjoy reading philosophy. I enjoy working out because my life is a low wavelength. This is the video why I made my life boring. You can DM me on Instagram, top link in the description. I can help you by mentoring you. The first call will be free. Then if you would like to continue, I will charge you for it. Second link in the description would be my Discord server where you can talk with me and other people on the server about the problems that you're facing, and they will give you the insights. Click on this video. Have a good day.